But the most important one is to improve the quality across the team.
Understood.
So and
Okay,
then and then when someone is offline or sick, the other knows what needs to be done.
cool. All right. So this sounds like
Hmm.
that everyone's sharing the same sort of process. Like there's the same task being shared across different team members. Is that correct?
No, no, for different departments, yes.
Yes. Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
So if we're looking at that, then okay, let's take that. If that is the objective currently, then we need to be prioritizing processes in this format. And that is pretty simple in the sense that if there's a problem or something or some issue around quality, then
Mhm.
those are the processes that we have to look at creating. And ideally, as we look at the problem processes or the quality processes, I would then also look at the most shortest and most recurring again. And the reason for that, just to bring everyone up to speed, is that if we have a short process, well, it's probably not as impactful. So if we are creating it and it goes wrong, it's might not harm the team or the company too much, as opposed to a more longer, drawn out, urgent, critical process. If we start on those, they take a lot of time to create. And if we create them incorrectly, they can cause more harm than good. And so that's why we suggest the shortest process first. And then from the recurring point of view, the intention is that if we are short on time, then we need to start out on the most recurring processes to create the time to then approach a more longer, the more drawn out processes
Mhm.
too as well. So
Mhm.
it's not like we are trying to create every single process in this instance. In this instance, the ultimate end goal is to only create processes around problems. So it's not for every single task or for every single duty. It's only the problems that are currently occurring around quality. So this means that as you are creating them, the sequence or the order of the processes, it's not going to be in a nice, clean order in terms of your customer journey and all of that part. It will be around the problem. So we are only creating processes around problems that are currently happening. And then of
Mhm.
those, ideally, the most shortest and most recurring.
Recurring.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So now, with that being said, if we can identify each of these, and I'll sort of explain how to shortly, then what we need to be looking for is essentially someone who someone who essentially knows the process inside and out and who can perform it correctly. Because then we can either have them just create the process, which is quite easy, or if they are quite time poor, we can have them instead record the workflow/process and then have somebody else create it as well. So
Got. Mhm.
I actually like, and I'll kind of explain why, because I think it's important, is if we were to say, let's say this is person number one, here and here. And actually, I'll give this example. If we have person number one who knows the process inside and out, and they create the process, they type it all out, they add the images, the screenshots, the checklist, the recording of the task, and they include all of that. This is good because it's very quick and easy for them to create it since they are probably going to be going through the task anyway. In some scenarios, it's not common, but I've seen it happen, is that this person would essentially rush through the process, assuming that everyone knows the things that they also know. So sometimes if we have the expert create the process, it can lead to still having assumption, interpretation, so on and so on. It's not always the case, although it can happen. So if you see that happening, what I would suggest then instead is that you'd have person number one record themselves going through the process, and then you have a second person create that process. The reason behind that is that as they are viewing the recording and then turning that into a process, they can spot room for assumption, room for interpretation. They can ask for help. Oh, John, did you any click here? How come you did this and not that right? And this small little interaction will bring out a lot of concerns and questions and comments that will really ensure that at the end of it, the recorded process has been almost tested as it has been created because of the communication amongst those two. So this is certainly a lot more secure in this sense that you will probably get a more defined process at the end of it. It takes a little bit more time, although just having someone create the process also works well. So it just depends on who's creating it, if they're self-aware of their own skill sets or not, if they know how good the team is, so on and so on. So